We start with the story behind one of the more shocking turns of events to take place in a Minnesota trial in recent memory. Just hours before closing arguments in the Tony Lazzaro sex trafficking case last week, one of his former friends came forward with key evidence that helped lead to his conviction. It was another twist in a case that almost seemed too strange and shocking to be true, and it might not have happened with the man you're looking at right now, reporting from our Lou Raguse, who just happens to be here to walk us through it. Hi, Lou.
Hi, Kent. Well, anytime I'm covering a high-profile case that doesn't have cameras in court, I try to provide live tweets, a style of coverage that I've become known for. And in the Tony Lazzaro case, my live tweets ended up prompting a former friend of Lazzaro's to turn over extremely incriminating evidence on one of the last days of the trial that the prosecution then used to bury the sex trafficker. In the absence of cameras in the courtroom, live tweets, when allowed by the judge, give observers a play-by-play window into high-profile trials.
Anton Lazzaro is a predator.
In Tony Lazzaro's sex trafficking trial, details included the Ferrari-driving GOP political operative recruiting, transporting, and paying a 15-year-old and 4 16-year-olds for sex at his luxury condo at the Hotel Ivy. When Lazzaro himself took the witness stand last week at the end of the case, a former friend in Texas, Charles Bittman, started following along the live tweets with particular interest.
I wanted to hear what he had to say in his defense.
Up to this point, the victims and Lazzaro's co-defendant, Gisela Castro Medina, had all given compelling, credible testimony. But some of the allegations came down to his word against theirs. And that's when one of my tweets about an offhanded remark Lazzaro made caught Bittman's attention.
I specifically saw the message that you had written about, he said that he doesn't even like lingerie, that you can ask his girlfriend.
Lazzaro was expressing distaste about girls coming over to his condo, adding, "For the record, I don't even like lingerie. You can even ask my girlfriend that," referring to Kira Costal, Lazzaro's 18-year-old girlfriend, who testified in his defense.
And it just sparked a memory of, you've sent me pictures before. God, tell me this isn't of these girls.
Bittman had disturbing photos and videos sent from Lazzaro of teen girls in lingerie. Bittman says he didn't know they were minors, and he didn't know they were victims from the trial he was following. It was revealed during the case Lazzaro also had a porn business using women who are 18 plus.
Because he was such a narcissist, he would send over tons of, videos with these girls that he was doing scenes with.
He was an actor in his own porn?
Yes, he was.
That afternoon, with Lazzaro on the witness stand, Bittman contacted the FBI and heard back that evening from the prosecution team. The next day, just like in the movies, prosecutors unveiled the surprise new evidence in court.
I've only been doing this since 1985. I've never seen it before.
An assistant U.S. Attorney, Melinda Williams, revamped her cross-examination strategy around the new evidence. She showed Lazzaro lied about the existence of the lingerie photo, claiming he had just taken a selfie. Lazzaro also claimed under oath he never asked Castro Medina to be his recruiter. That term was never used, he testified. But then Williams confronted Lazzaro with this text message exchange with Bittman. "See why I used Gisela/recruiters? And Lazzaro especially started floundering on the witness stand when Williams showed these messages to Bittman. On the anniversary of the death of Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most infamous sex trafficker, poor Jeff. Rest in peace, my brother."
He definitely admired Jeffrey Epstein.
Lazzaro claimed the blurry photo might have been his grandfather, before finally admitting it was Epstein.
It was very helpful.
The prosecutors felt they had enough evidence to convict before the new batch of evidence, but they happily accepted more. An incredible turn of courtroom drama sparked by the tweet concerning Lazzaro's comment about lingerie.
If Tony never makes an offhanded comment about lingerie and you don't post it, none of this doesn't happen.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there, but I think we should first acknowledge this was a disturbing case. There's
Absolutely.
a lot of things that have come out of this that I know even you struggled with, reporting in the courtroom with these young women. Mm-hmm. Did Bittman have any kind of remorse for his role in all of this? Because certainly receiving those messages and all of that.
Yeah, he was adamant that he didn't know how young those girls were because he got a lot of videos and photos from Lazzaro of age women. However, he is struggling, he said, with the fact that he didn't question him more. He didn't ask, how old they were and thought maybe, he could have done something to stop it earlier.
And again, this is evidence that the prosecutors didn't essentially have access to, right?
Yeah, no, they didn't have any of these videos. They talked about them, and that's what made it so dramatic is we heard about this image of these girls in the bed in lingerie, but we didn't see it. And then finally, and Lazaro claimed it didn't even exist. So when it came out in court, it was a huge surprise.
Now, this all happened in the middle of the night. Did you have any idea that this was happening?
There was a big delay the next day, and we thought maybe Lazaro was going to plead guilty. We didn't know what this delay was about. It was the prosecution and the defense going over this new evidence with the judge to make sure that it could come in to the case.
Wow. And at some point, you did hear from him and you
Yeah,
connected.
you know, because then I'm live tweeting that day and talking about these new developments, and then Charles Bittman reached out to me to let me know that he got all this from the tweets initially, and that's how the ball got rolling.
Wow. Okay, we know there's a conviction in this case. When's the sentencing?
Gisela Castro Medina will be sentenced in August, and there's not a sentencing date set yet for Lazaro.
All right. Great work, Lou. I know you'll stay on top of it.
Thank you.